Hello and welcome to Whiskey and Wool. My name is Shannon. I am going to talk to you today about knitting and spinning, and I have a little whiskey chat that I'm going to be putting in here. Real quick before I go to that, I am driving out to the Hamptons in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So I am not going to drink whiskey now. But I will have a sampling for you once I get to my friend's house because I have a couple hours to kill between when I get there and when he arrives. So I will insert that in here. You're going to see a costume change. I won't be wearing this sweater. I'm going to be wearing a different one. And then we'll come right back here and I will talk to you about what has been going on with me with knitting and spinning since the last time I spoke with you. Hey there. Gonna taste whiskey with you. Are you ready? The first thing I need to do though is apologize about my last episode where I mispronounced, I'm probably still gonna not get it right, Lafroig. I think it's Lafroig. I'm not exactly sure. There's a lot of YouTube videos that will explain to you how to pronounce the different Scottish whiskey distilleries. I had a friend reach out to me who lives in Scotland, and she told me via recording how to say it and told me I could play it, but it's not playing back. I don't know if there's like a limit to how many times it could be played back through Instagram. So I just want to point out before I do today's that I did mess that up. But anyway, I'm going to try to get this one right. Today we're going to try this one. Tamdhu. Apparently that second do is the emphasis. Tamdhu. That's what's important. So this is a batch strength, batch number 4. So they've had batch 1, 2, and 3 before they have batch number 4. Also, I hope you don't mind the different recording. I'm using my laptop to record this instead of my camera setup and stuff, so because I didn't want to bring it all out with me. Anyway, let me tell you about Tamdhu. Tamdhu. I think that's right. Tamdhu. They're interesting, and I think maybe I know why this is a batch and it doesn't necessarily have a year on it. You know, I was thinking I probably should stay in a region and just explore it, but I don't know. I kind of am following the next, shiny object, I guess, with my whiskey tastings here. So this is from Speyside, and I will put a map on here to show you where Speyside is. It is known as Whiskey Heaven. We've talked about whiskeys. I've talked about whiskeys on my channel from those that region before. It is the region that got the earliest start in creating whiskey as an industry. So in the 1800s, when, or maybe even before that, anyway, short story, teacup version is that. The distilleries began in Speyside, and there's like a new house being built next door, so you might see some workers out there. Anyway, that was the first place where, like, what we know as whiskey, the whiskey distilleries, the more modern day whiskey distilleries began in earnest in Speyside. So probably the most popular one that people would probably know is Glenfiddich. That's from the Speyside region. So, okay, so Tamdhu, you definitely pronounce that D. Tamdhu. American version. I'm sorry. It's been a long drive. Okay, Tamdhu, they began in 1897, and then I was getting to why this is batch 4 and doesn't have a year. So they began in 1897 and, made whiskey along with everyone else for quite a while. And at some point, I guess there was a downturn in whiskey biz because I found this with a couple other distilleries as well that they closed. So they closed in 2010. So that was 10 years ago. And then they reopened. So another new management, new ownership came in. I don't really know those details because I couldn't find them on their website. They reopened, the distillery was reopened in the same name in 2012. So that's only 8 years ago. So it's funny, I had thought when I opened this in my advent calendar that I got for 2019, December 2019, when I opened this, I looked at it quickly and I thought that it said 8 year, but it doesn't. It says batch 4, batch strength, batch 4. So that's probably why the batches, because I was thinking about it since I've read about so many distilleries having a period where they go dormant and or are closed. I was like, what happens to the whiskey? Because whiskey we know needs to be aged. So if it needs to be aged, what the heck happened to it? Did people just did the workers of the closing distillery just roll barrels home? What happened? Some of them, it seems like the barrels were left in place until the new ownership came in. So maybe they were keeping everything intact until a buyer could be found. I don't know. In this case, I don't know what happened. But we are tasting batch 4 today, that I can tell you. And here, no whiskey drams out here at my friend's house, but instead I'm using one of these beautiful Italian-made glasses. It's based on the red Solo cups. The mold was made from a small version of a red Solo cup, and then they made glasses. But it's fine for tasting whiskey. Whiskey tastes good in everything, so especially in your mouth. So, okay, Tamdhu. Sorry, I'm just going to laugh every time I say that. Tamdhu is, and I'm sure I'm going to get plenty of comments about my mispronunciation. It is a whiskey that is aged in the Oloroso sherry barrels. So if you don't remember what Oloroso is a type of Spanish sherry. And fun fact, Tamdhu was the first distiller, I shouldn't say the first, but it was one of the oldest distilleries back in 1898 that began aging their whiskey in sherry casks from Spain. So, but Oloroso these days, I don't know about 100 years ago in 1897, but these days Oloroso sherry barrels are made out of American oak. So American oak, if you remember, tends to give sort of a buttery or bread-like, pastry-like flavor to whatever is aged inside of it. And when the sherry is put in it, and then it's aged and the sherry's bottled, the empty casks are sent to whiskey distilleries. So this particular whiskey distillery, Tamdhu, there's not a second D, Shannon. Tamdhu, they use those barrels to make their whiskey. And that barrel type from American oak sherry barrels are known to impart a strong nutty flavor, which you absolutely get. Oh my gosh, it almost smells like, if you've ever had Black Forest cake and you've smelled the black cherries that have been marinated in sherry, that's kind of what this smells like. But it also has a really strong nutty smell. I really smell, I couldn't tell you, actually, if I had to pick the nut, I would say pecan. It's so, oh my goodness, I just want to drink the whole thing up. It's getting close to dinner time. Wow. Okay. There's a lot going on there. The first thing, this is a high alcohol content. It is 57.8, which is pretty high for whiskey. Most whiskeys or somewhere around 50, maybe 40, upper 40s. So I really taste the heat from the alcohol. I taste some fruit too. There's like a mellow sort of orange fruit, not orange, not citrus per se, but almost like peach maybe, or apricot. Butter, I taste butter, like a buttery, I do taste the buttery pastry smell, or sorry, taste that you get from American oak. Peach. There's a little bit of a hint of spice, but not too bad. I think the spiciness is being enhanced by the heat from the alcohol, from the high alcohol content. Okay, I'm going to pop on over to a website that will tell me a little more that I can share with you. I'm going to go to my favorite, which is Flavier. So here's what they say about the batch number 4. It has a warm gold appearance. So yeah, I see that. It is actually a very warm gold appearance. Oaky. Okay, so I guess when they say oaky, they mean that buttery oak taste. Everything from nuts to fruity sherry. So, okay, that's on the nose. I definitely taste that, or smell that rather. The walnuts with, or pecans with nuts with that Bing cherry sherry. Okay, flavor. Big on spice. Oh, soon after lots of pepper, zest, and vanilla. It's funny. I actually didn't. Vanilla. Maybe the vanilla sort of rounding off the buttery. I almost want to say it's buttery pastry-ish. Let me see if there's anything else on it. Oh yeah, here someone says, nose is pleasant with hints of berries and nuts. Well, I would say cherries and nuts. The mouth feels warm and inviting. The finish is freaking long. It's fruity and warmth down my chest. Compares nicely to Macallan 15. There you go. Someone else is saying butterscotch. I'm not sure I taste the butterscotch. But there's definitely a hint of it. All right, what else can I tell you? I don't know. I don't think there's much else. I'm going to send you back over to earlier me, who's talking about wool next. So I hope you enjoyed this little tasting. I hope you get a chance to try some Tamdhu. And I'm going to look for this. Batch number 4. This is really nice. I really like it. I think it's a crowd pleaser. I think it's a good all-around crowd pleaser. And it doesn't have... Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. It was certainly fun to film, I expect. Oh boy. So yeah, I am recording this on Friday morning. As I said, I am planning to drive this afternoon to my friend's house in the Hamptons. I go out about once a month, maybe once every 6 weeks or so, just to visit and hang out and relax. This weekend, I'm hoping to do some photography for my Saucy Surrey bomber jacket, which the pattern release is imminent. And I would tell you the exact date if it wasn't for user error. I didn't follow my own instructions on my second version. So my plan is to re-record the zipper setting video, because when I recorded the zipper setting video with this sweater, so this is my first work in progress that I'm going to talk to you about today. In case you're a new viewer and you're confused, I have been working on a bomber jacket. I'll just put a picture in here of my Vogue Knitting Live outfit so you can see what I'm talking about. But basically the sweater on my lap is the one that I wore to Vogue. It is a pattern of my own design, and it is called the Saucy Surrey Bomber Jacket. I have pretty much completed testing. I fell behind my testers a little bit, and this is my second version. So what I was saying is that when I filmed when I filmed the tutorial on how to sew in the zipper, I used this sample here, and because it is such bright colors, it really blew out the camera lens, and the color shift, I just could not control the color shifting that was happening. It just like was changing the entire time I was talking about it. Plus, I've learned a couple things in knitting this sweater in this version. One of them is that it was super easy to make a user error. So I'm trying to say that I ordered an 18-inch zipper, which is the exact size I used for my prototype, and it's too short by 2 inches, even though I followed my own instructions. Clearly, I made a mistake in there somewhere. I'm not sure where. So I had to hop online today and order a 20-inch zipper instead of an 18-inch zipper for this one. It doesn't seem like it's that much longer. I did make some modifications though in the neck and stuff, and I guess the way I wrote the pattern, I made it flexible in terms of what zipper length you buy for your own self, because of course knitters will knit the length that they want, not necessarily the length that the pattern is written for, and I have it all written that way so you can customize that part. So I guess that's why I didn't hear anything about the zipper length that I recommended. Anyway, I made a user error, and I now will have to wait to refilm that tutorial about setting the zipper. So everything's delayed now because the zipper, I have to wait 5 weeks, or sorry, not 5 weeks, 5 days or so for the zipper to arrive. It'll be here like midweek next week, and then I've got to wait for the weekend to film and photograph. So at best, this pattern is going to be released the first weekend of March, which will be March 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere in there. At worst, it'll be the following weekend, which will be like around March 15th. I think that's still okay. I know that a couple testers would really like to share, and it's hard to sit on something when you're waiting. So, yeah. Anyway, fun fact, I'm wearing the As If Tee by Shay Johnson, and I knitted out. I talked about it in a video before. You can actually, the best way to find out more about anything I'm wearing is to take a look at my Ravelry project page and go to that sweater that you want to know more about. And then if you go all the way down to the notes, I write the episodes that I talked about it. And usually the last episode that I say I talked about the sweater in is the one where I talk about the whole shebang, the finished object part. Anyway, As If Tee by Shay Johnson, I have knitted out of my own hand-spun. This is what I have left of it. Right here. Beautiful. I love this sweater. Anyway, but fun fact, my Vogue outfit was supposed to be this sweater underneath this sweater. It would have worked, right? It would have worked nicely. I just didn't finish the As If Tee in time, so I ended up wearing a knitting t-shirt, like a knitting related t-shirt underneath instead. So, and that was fun. Yeah, so that's my tale of woe with the on the path to knitting this, working on this, and making a second version of this. I'm going to go ahead and do a photo shoot out in the Hamptons anyway with this version. I had intended to completely shoot this version, but I don't want to delay for another 6 weeks while I'm waiting for another trip out there. Like, well, I mean, he wouldn't mind if I came right back out the next weekend, I don't think. But I'm not as productive when I'm out there. It's so fun to be out there, but I'm just not as productive. So I am going to do some long shots of me in this sweater, which I think will work out just fine. And then I think all the close-ups will be this version, just because it's an easier to photograph color. And I do have some images from one of my testers, so I may use those. She told me I could use those, but I think she's going to link them on Ravelry anyway, so you'll be able to see them. But hers came out so cute, so cute. Yeah, so that'll be fun for you to see. Yeah, so that is my user error tale of woe. Mwah. We'll see. I'm hoping I have like a location in mind in the Hamptons that I hope will work out. It's going to be so cold. It's super cold and blustery right now. It's very windy, and it's even more windy there because it's shoreline and stuff. So, but I have a really good location that I think will be quite nice. So I'm hoping to get some cute shots out there with my friend behind the lens with my hot pink version. So yeah, that is this. So you can see I did make progress. Last time I showed you this, I think I had the other sleeve knit to about here. So I did make progress. I'm on the cuff here, you can see. The cuffs are folded over. So you knit them twice as long. They're 3 inches long. So you knit 6 inches and then you fold it up and do either Kitchener stitch or 3-needle bind off, or you could do a traditional bind off and sew them down. Yeah, I will have this done. This will be done by my next time I make an episode, and I will have launched the pattern too, hopefully, unless I really just don't have time to edit, do the production edit on the pattern. So let me tell you about the yarn, because I think you might, new viewers, especially if you hadn't watched any other episodes, you might be interested to know. So the main color here is by Qing Fibre. It is her Melted Baby Suri base. Melted Baby Suri base in the colorway Oyster. I bought this, right, yes. I bought this from the store Olann at Vogue Knitting Live, because I knew I was making a second version. The trim is right here. It's attached, so let me be careful. So this will be the cuff, and it'll also be the collar, so there'll be like a dab of the dark purple up at the neck. The zipper I bought is pretty close to this like dusty pink color in here. My trim is Fuse Fibre. Fuse Fibre Studio. I actually bought this at Vogue Knitting Live in 2018. So it's a MCN base in the colorway Twilight, which I don't have any idea if she still dyes that color. If it's a normal. I hate using that word, but because it's a little, I don't know, critical, I guess. So, I don't know if it's part of her regular repertoire or not. It just so happened that it worked really well with this. I was really hoping when I bought the Melted Suri, the Baby Suri at Vogue, that I had a color that was going to go well, like to be a nice trim color. And I think it does well. I like it. I love the dark contrast. Like this one is not as contrasty, but you still get a contrast. But I think that this design really does a great job in showing off the beautiful speckling that some dyers are doing in the Baby Suri. Though Qing also makes an electric blue Melted Baby Suri that I thought would be, like, if I make a third one, I think that might be what I do. Just so you know, the collar is about twice as high as this collar. This is the prototype. So I rewrote the pattern so that the collar is much taller than you're seeing in this version. But that's why I was saying I would do long shots with it when I'm out east. I actually did not think I had very much to talk to you about today, and I thought this might be on the shorter side, but I don't know. I'm already off to a pretty lengthy start here. Okay. I want to talk to you about my other whips. I don't have any finished objects due to user error. let me talk to you about this one because I didn't do too much with this. I have been working on it recently. This is the Stonecrop cardigan by Andrea Mowry, which I'll put a picture in here. I didn't make all that much progress. I think last time I'd showed you I had just split for the sleeves right at the top. I'd done a row or two, and now I've done a section of this checkerboard zigzag and another row of the bobbles. The bobbles take a while, even though I'm doing a smaller bobble, and the pattern calls for you to do a bobble using a crochet hook, which I didn't want to fool around with different tools. So I looked for a modified bobble that I could do on my knitting needles. So I'm doing a Japanese bobble. And I found a tutorial for Japanese bobbles on Purl Soho, which if I remember, I'll link it in the show notes. But otherwise, yeah, Purl Soho had the Japanese bobble. They're a little bit smaller too than the bobbles that Andrea Mowry did in her version. But I thought you might enjoy seeing that beautiful contrast that I'm getting as the Spincycle yarn is going from orange to red. I have more red to do. I don't know if you're seeing that well or not. I have more red to do, and then it's going to go back to orange. And then it goes into this blue-green. And then looks like there's a stretch of it that's going to be pretty close in color. Let me just show you up close. That's going to be pretty close in color to my main color. So I might take that out. See it right there? I'm a little worried that's going to be a little too low contrast. So I may take that section out when I come to it. I'll see. I'll see how it looks. Okay, so I am using Spincycle dyed in the wool, which is what the pattern calls for your contrast color. Trying to find the tag, the ball band. Here it is. So Spincycle dyed in the wool, 100% American wool in the colorway Stay Out of the Forest. So that's what this is, Stay Out of the Forest. And my main color, I want to come back to the Spincycle in a sec. My main color is by Uschitita. And this is her yarn base called the Minimalist, which is a non-superwash wool. 100% Highland wool in the colorway, I think it says Freibad. Freibad? I'm not really sure. Not really sure how to pronounce that. I hope I'm doing it justice. I bought this minimalist yarn in a shop update that she did that, I think her name is Steffi, that Steffi did it was after EYF, because at EYF I'd seen her yarn and I was really overwhelmed with what I was bringing home. So I ended up passing on it. But then in a sale, in a shop update she did after EYF, I went back to get Squirrel Kids, which I've made into a sweater. Her colorway Squirrel Kids. It's a really beautiful rusty brown. I wore that to Rhinebeck. And I've also bought a sweater's quantity of this beautiful green, turquoisey green color. Okay, now I have a question for you viewers. For any of you viewers who have already knit either the Stonecrop cardigan or the Stonecrop pullover, what are people doing for sleeves? So continuing with the dyed in the wool from Spincycle, I think, if you're looking at this as a bullseye, I think I'm going to get down through these green shades and I'll be at the bottom of the sweater. That's my sense of how quickly I'm going through this. I may not even get too deep into these greens. And so that means I'm going to have a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange left, right? And maybe some green, some of those lighter greens. And then it's time to do the sleeve. So I ended up, if you're a returning viewer, you're going to remember this, but I ended up not buying a second skein of Stay Out of the Forest. It was hard to find, but then I saw it all over Vogue when I was at Vogue, but it looked you know, it's different colors. Like it's a different dye lot, so it wasn't going to be such a great match to this. And I had sort of devised this plan of using what I have left of this Truth Bomb and then utilizing this Truth Bomb skein as well. And I figured out that that would be about enough yarn, because I think I only need about another 100 or 150 or so yards after this skein's gone. So I figured between these two I could sort of podge together enough yarn and stay on point with color. But I'm concerned about, like, I can see how I would match these to continue what was happening here. I can see that. But what do you do for sleeves? Like, do you just blow off the, you know, do I try to match the sleeves to each other? Like, I'm not that worried about the sleeves matching from here down necessarily. But the sleeves, just for a point of reference, they're ending right. Like, they're going to start right here with this textured bump right here. And it'll go into this checkerboard and then this row of bobbles and stuff. So I'm not that worried about matching, making sure that it's this dark red. That I don't care about. But should they match each other? Like, I'm a little, you know, part of me just wants to say, yeehaw, who cares? I'm just going to knit. Whatever yarn comes up. And if the sleeves don't match each other, But I don't know, you know. Another part of me is like, no, don't do that. No, try to match. So, I don't know. I may end up with sort of a quasi kind of match, kind of don't. I don't know. What'd you do? Tell me. Comment below. Tell me what you did. Did you bother? Were you meticulous, or did you throw caution to the wind and just let things go where they went? Inquiring minds want to know. I really want to know. I mean, I know I could troll Ravelry and try to figure it out, but I don't. Yeah, I would rather you just tell me. Someone just hold my hand. Hold my hand. Oh boy. Alrighty. The next two things I'm going to show you, my whips. This one I'm going to show you because it's going to be very fast to talk about. I have been working away probably in spurts on my throw, on my hand-spun throw. I've actually knit a good, I realized that I didn't have a progress keeper on here. I wish I did. I think I've knit a good like 12 inches of it. It's now measuring 32 inches from the cast on. And I think I'm about halfway through the yarn, so that means I'll end up with at least a 60-inch long throw, which is perfect. So throws are usually 54 to 60, maybe 72 inches. I'm just knitting until the yarn's gone. And I think, as I said, I believe I'm about halfway through the yarn. The yarn is my own hand spun. It is my first hand spun project. Is this attached? Or is this might be attached. I'm not sure. Yeah, here it is. Okay, found the end. It is my own hand spun. My first hand spun project is after I finally learned how to make the spinning wheel go, and I had practiced with, I ruined basically an entire 100-gram piece batting. I had ordered I don't even know, I want to say it was 12 ounces or so, maybe it was 16 ounces, might have been a pound of fleece from Blue Moon. Trying to remember it, it's right here. Blue Moon alpaca. So I ordered about a pound of fleece, and then I started to spin it. And so what happened was that I have a lot of thick and thin. I learned from this. So I worked on this intermittently. I did a couple skeins of it, and then I realized it's such a boring spin because it's just plain. It's just it's beautiful. It's this beautiful gray with sparkles. But the fun thing for me about spinning is watching the color develop, and there was no color to develop in this. So I spun it on and off, and I got better. So my spin progressively got, I think I can show you a good example, it progressively got better and thinner. So this is like a pretty thin compared to like some of the thick and thin parts here. So I decided for this project that I would hold 2 strands together. Let me put that down, pick this up. Hold 2 strands together so that I could sort of even out the thick-thin. So you can see I have a very thin and very thick piece there. And make a nice chunky knit throw. So that's what this is. I am doing it in a 1x1 rib stitch, which means it's reversible. So I could have done garter, but I really like the way that rib stitch looks for throws. This is the third, fourth throw that I've made this way. I just cast on, I think this one was 90 stitches, which is going to give me a nice, like, it'll probably be about 42 to 45 or so inches wide once it's blocked. And yeah, I'll have a nice throw. I still don't have my couch, if you're wondering. I ordered a couch in October, and I was originally thinking I would make this throw for the couch, but I think it's going to be too blendy with the couch. The couch is like a pale gray. This is a cool toned gray. The couch is a warm toned gray, so it would contrast. It would be a low contrast. I was just not sure. I may end up just putting this on my bed or maybe on my guest bed and putting a shot of color on the couch instead. So yeah, we'll decide. Couch is coming though. It's coming next week, so maybe I can show you that next time, or it may pop up in some videos from time to time. The couch I have, current couch I have, is a charcoal gray. It's pretty dark, so I'm excited to have a lighter toned piece of furniture, because it's the biggest piece of furniture, not for most people, I think, in their room. Okay, I got one more whip, and then I'm going to move on to spinning. I've been doing a lot of spinning. Okay, so this is another design that is of my own design. This is the Rye Layering Tee. I made the first version I made was a Henley. It had a button front, so I'll put a picture in here so you see what I'm talking about. And I'm working on the crew neck version. And this crew neck version is getting some color blocking done in it, some big swaths of color. I know it doesn't look like it looks more stripy right now, but when I knit more, you'll see. Because the green section I'm working on now will be at least as big as this gray section up here, if not a little bit bigger. And then there'll be a small section of gray, and then it'll go back to green. So the sweater will mostly be green. It is, for me, it is my size. It is a rib stitch, so that's the beauty of the layering tee pattern, is that it's written for rib or textured rib stitch. The pattern is out testing right now. So like my last pattern that tested, this one, the Saucy Surrey bomber jacket, the Rye Layering Tee is being tested in the low to middle of the range. I don't have testers for the upper ranges. I would like testers for the upper size ranges. So if you're interested, if you're on the higher end of the scale, the bust line scale that I have made the pattern in, and are interested in testing just started, so you won't be behind at all. I know that the bigger the sweater you're making, the more time it takes. I understand that. So I would be willing to just get in touch with me, email me, or instant message me DM me on Instagram or on Ravelry, and let me know that you're interested in testing. And I will sign you in to the test. So just if you're interested, just to give you a heads up on the sizes that I still need testers for, it is 64, 60, 56, those sizes. So it would be really great to get those tested. Not so much for the way that the pattern runs, because I only need one person to test to see how the pattern runs. Of course, like that'll tell me whether or not the pattern is working. but more for the spec because this is a fitted sweater. So it has a set-in sleeve and it has, you know, a close-fitting neckline. So it would be nice to know that what I have I followed the specs, the available specs from the Crafty website very closely, and I think they're good. But it would be nice just to have someone tell me that they're definitely good. Okay, on to the yarn. Okay, the yarn is Plucky Knitters. I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice round yarn, which means like very circular, which means that it gives you nice stitch definition. This is the Primo Sport base in the colorway Aunt Bootsie is the green, and Full Steam Ahead is the gray. The gray I got in a stash, de-stash, so I'm not sure. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's nice mid-range gray, not too cool and not too warm. It looks a little warmer on screen than it actually is. It's right in the middle though, I'd say. But anyway, it is, it was in a de-stash. I got it in a de-stash, so I have no idea if she still does that color. This one I've seen. I actually saw it at Vogue this past time. So this is Aunt Bootsie, which has it's a nice variegated green, like all the very spring-like actually. So and you know, March and April in this. I'm coming to you from northern New Jersey. In case I didn't say that, I don't think I did. I might have put it on screen. This area that we live in, March and April are cold. In fact, we'll get snow in March and April, so this will be fine. It's nice to wear like a little bit brighter colors than what we would wear in the autumn or winter. So yeah, to be continued, the Rye Layering Tee. I have 2 more planned for myself. So I'm just knitting along. This has actually gotten a lot of attention this week. I pressed myself to get through the I wanted to release the pattern instructions to testers, so I pushed myself to get through the crew neck, and then I just continued knitting on it. And I think I'm going to be knitting on this a lot this weekend because knowing how my weekend goes, I'll probably work on the cuff, but this will be the one that I'll work on the cuff probably while I'm sitting around the house, but this will probably be the one that I'll carry around with me. It's my fringe, one of my fringe field bags with a Jennifer Hewitt print on it, and I put some cute little patches on there from Anthropology that say I love you. But yeah, anyway, I got this a while ago, long while ago, like 2018 sometime, maybe that spring or something. Okay, I'm going to move on to, where are we? Yeah, halfway. I'm going to move on to spinning. I don't think it's going to be as long as my knitting was. So, what can I tell you? Current spins. Well, because I put a clip in at the beginning of me spinning. So let me talk to you about that spin. So that is this yarn, fiber that is called Imbolc. That's what you saw on the spinning wheel. It's from Stitch Together Studio. It's part of a ritual. I think she calls them a ritual box or a holiday box, but there's 8 of them. I subscribe for the whole year, so I get 8 boxes. This was my first box for this year. I had gotten the boxes. Actually, this yarn, this was from a box from Stitch Together Studio too. This was the Christmas box, this one. It was called Yule, this color, and I had bought an extra bag so that I had enough for something. I didn't know what I was going to make. When I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm making an SF with that. So I ended up doing I did 6 bobbins. I had 2 bags, 6 ounces. I did 6 bobbins, and then I did 2 skeins that were 3-ply for this one. This one I'm just planning to make a 2-ply out of. I am not going to show you the bobbin because I can put a picture here if you want to see it, but I just wanted to share with you my work in progress. And I also wanted to share something. I had last episode, I shared that I got this, and she included these little bags of locks. And a viewer told me to comb them out. Like if I didn't want them flopping around, so what happens is that you get like that, right? Right? Okay, so if I didn't want to spin it so that a piece of it, just like I had a chunk of it in there, she told me to comb them out. So I did that. I decided, I got a packet of this turquoise color and I got a packet of brown. So I divided the fleece in two by weight. So I divided these little batlings in two. This is one, this is half right here. And I started to spin, and it's still on my spinning wheel. I haven't finished that one bobbin. I started to spin it, and I combed out the locks. This is what happens to those locks when you comb them out. You just end up with this frizz. I don't know what these locks are. I don't know if they're mohair or if they're some type of fleece. They feel very hair-like. They look very hair-like. And so I've been working these in. This is all I have left. It was like a big, huge thing. Hairball. It was a big hairball. So I've been working these into the spin, and I don't much like spinning them. They end up so, because they're combed together, I guess, and as I'm spinning and I'm sort of pulling out, they don't connect to each other very well. They're slippery, and I don't know. I don't much like spinning them. They just end up looking kind of crinkly and weird in the yarn. But maybe I'll like knitting with them. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say that yet. I'm not gonna say that I don't like that yet. I'm just gonna wait and see how it goes. And yeah, we'll see. So this is all I have left of the first half of that. It's a fast spin. I am getting a little bit of breakage happening, more breakage than usual because of the hair. So we'll see. I'll share more about that next time, and hopefully maybe I'll even swatch it if I have time so you can take a look and see how it looks. All right, and then the other thing I have pretty much wrapped up. I've been working for quite a while, almost a year, I think, on this spin. So this is fiber from Countess Ablaze. It is called A Heart's Beguilement. It is a 85 Corriedale 15% sea cell blend. I quite like it. It's very pretty. I actually even have a swatch of it knit up. This is primarily red. And I have envisioned this being a version of the Rye Layering Tee, the Hindley version, for quite a while. And that's been the plan for quite a while to do that. I just haven't, I decided that I realized that I really need to get a move on the spin. So I now have completely single plied the bobbins. So the idea is that these two bobbins will be plied together to make a skein. That is how I got, sorry about the crinkling. That's how I got this. So these two plied together into this. And I have another bag. So I've done all the single plying. Now I just have to do I've done all the single ply spins, and now I'm going to do the double ply, the 2-ply on that, and these will be done. So these are like 90% done. The plying doesn't take all that long, but I do have to run through the entire yardage, and then these will be ready for me to start working on another version, another version of the Rye Layering Tee. The Rye Layering Tee, by the way, is choose your own adventure, so you can make a lot of different choices. I wrote the pattern in such a way that you bring your own textured stitch or rib stitch, or you can even use stockinette stitch if you want. You can bring that to the knit. Oh, so I think that's it. Am I done? I talked to you about that spin? Yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm done. I have one stash acquisition because I have I'm spinning through my fiber stash at a pretty decent pace. So I went ahead and joined another 3 months of the Olann Fiber Club. It is a luxury fiber club, and I joined the first 3 months that she did, and the first 2 months that she did, which were November and December, those were baby Suri blends. So I joined for another 3 months in the hope that she would do another baby Suri blend, because if I had 3 skeins of that, that's enough for a sweater. So if I have enough fiber to make 3 skeins, I thought I could maybe combine it somehow, because the first 2 I have are very complementary. So far I didn't get that yet, but I have 2 more months to go. I did get my February one, which is really gorgeous. This is a Falkland Merino Baby Camel Glitter and Seacell top blend. So you can get a good look at the way the fiber looks right there. It's so pretty. This will make a great spin. You know, I really have a hard time not immediately spinning whatever I receive in the mail. So, and I don't think I'm doing another box from Stitch Together until, well, no, it's going to come in March. I think it's coming like around the 20th or so of March, 15th or 20th of March. And that one, she released the color board early and offered extra fiber. So I went ahead and bought 2 extra fiber bags, so I have enough for a sweater's quantity of that. So I think I'm going to really love it. Like when I ended up buying an extra fiber box bag of this as well with this one, because I saw her mood board, and I realized that I thought I would really, really like it. So yeah. So I have one last thing to talk about before I end this. I am a follower of kristyglass, which I know a lot of you are. Some of you may not like her. That's okay. Not everyone likes everyone. But she is having a knitting retreat, and I know some of my viewers live in this area. I don't have any real-life friends that knit and would be interested in going to a knitting retreat. I have some that knit, but they wouldn't be interested in a knitting retreat. The knitting retreat is in November. If you haven't been watching if you just haven't been on social media seeing what Christy has been posting about. But if you're interested in rooming with me, if you're one of my viewers and you would like to room with me, like you're planning to go and you want a room, or you want to share a cottage, I think there's cottages, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. The tickets are going on sale, I think, in a week or two, like pretty quickly. I think they want to get it booked. So it would be really great to go in with someone. And room with someone, because so far I've met so many of you, and I really have enjoyed talking with you, and I think it would be fun if that wouldn't be too weird for you. It wouldn't be too weird for me. So I would love to connect with someone, and any of you, to see about maybe rooming together. So DM me about that, or rather than writing a comment below, you might want to just DM me and we can connect that way. So direct message me through Ravelry or through Instagram, and let's talk about it, and let's see if we can go in together and get a space, because I do want to go. I almost reached out to her to see if I could teach, but it sounded like she got the teachers pretty quickly. So I think it'll be fun. It'll be exciting. It's the retreat, if you haven't been paying attention, it's a weekend in November. Interesting. But anyway, I hope you have a lovely, wonderful, crafty next couple weeks, and I look forward to reading your comments, and please subscribe and like the video. That helps me get visibility on YouTube's algorithm, and yeah, take care. Bye.